All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my dough for my bread. So I've already got all the ingredients. Hands are clean, so we're good to go. So you just need your starter. Right here, got flour over here, like a huge container of flour. I would use bread flour. This recipe has all-purpose flour because I didn't have any bread flour, so I found an all-purpose recipe. Water and then salt. So here, I'm trying to get you guys in a good place so you can kind of see. I have my scale, it's tiered. I have my spatula. I just fed my starter again this morning because yesterday I just had no time, absolutely, to make bread. And sometimes you will find that you make a better bread anyways if you go ahead and feed it one day and then feed it the next day and then make a loaf. When I have time, I'm kind of like a fan of doing that, but when I don't have time, I make it work. So do whatever is best for you. All right, so there's that. And this remainder of this active starter that I have, I'm gonna leave it on my counter and with the lid on and just let it finish doing its thing. Go as high as it's gonna go and then go all the way back down, and then either tonight or tomorrow morning I will put a metal lid on it and then I will put it back in the fridge. So yeah, so this recipe has 50 grams of starter. The recipe that I normally use has 60 grams to 50 grams is about average when it comes to starter. The best way to do this next part is the water next. This recipe has 330 grams of water. The recipe that I use with the bread flour, I think has more like 400 or maybe 375, I don't remember. But just reference your recipe. Don't just go putting stuff in there, and try to be as exact as you can. I don't know why, but it seems to affect it. And this is like warm water. Like, you don't want it to be cold. So that's 330 grams of water. Come inside. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, my dog is nuts. He doesn't care if it's hot outside. He still just wants to like go in and out. And then you want to take a fork and you want to mix all this up. It's kind of like a weird thing to mix, but I know in a lot of recipes this is an important step. I like the recipes that include this step. Does this step work in all the recipes? You can try it. I have done it on a recipe that didn't have this step, and I felt like the dough was kind of wet, but I don't know if it was also the ratio. Different people have different experiences, have different recipes. That's why there's like so many things online. Oh, actually, I forgot. I have this little thing. Yeah. So just follow one recipe all the way completely. You're not gonna be able to like mix and match and do a little bit of this recipe, a little bit of that recipe. That doesn't work for this in general, like at least to begin with. If you are having like a time and you're like, my bread is always dry. Okay, find a different recipe, see how that goes for you. And if it still feels dry or whatever, I feel like it's kind of good to have somebody that'll look at it versus just like trying to look at it yourself. I like to look at people's pictures of the insides of their loaves and the bottoms, and you know, the most important part is, does it taste good? Yeah, ask Billy. So this recipe has 500 grams of all-purpose flour, which is about right. It will have a lot more flour in this. So yeah, I'm just gonna put this to the side for now. This thing is so huge, but I've been using it so much, that and bread flour, so is needed. And this recipe has 9 grams of salt. And I kind of just try to like spread it out a little bit. I feel like it's easier to incorporate if you have it all spread out versus like all in one place. So that's starter, water, salt, and flour. This is ready to mix. I'm gonna take it off my scale so it's not all wonky to mix. Let me see if you guys can see here. Is that actually better or worse? So what I usually do, clean hands, mix like this. I'll go in with this hand in the middle and just kind of like slowly incorporate the flour into the water. You can see it is a messy process. You will have boogery fingers, but if you put a metal fork in here, it will be stuck to your metal fork, it'll be stuck to your wooden spoon, it'll be stuck to whatever you put in here. That's just like the way that it works. So yeah, but I've like found, and what everyone says pretty much hands down, and this is something that's like definitely agreed upon by most people, is that it's best to hand mix if you're doing a bowl. I have done one recipe that I used a mixer for Italian loaves. The recipe was okay, the loaves were okay. They didn't really get as brown as I would have hoped they would have. But I also think that preheating the oven is really important. And see, it'll slowly like come together. It's just a gradual process. Most recipes refer to this like first dough as a shaggy dough. Kind of makes sense, especially like when you touch it and you feel it, you're like, oh yeah, that is shaggy, I guess. It's kind of, you know, still boogery, more dry. Once you incorporate everything, ideally it will be more wet. You'd be surprised how the water and how the starter takes in all this flour and just becomes this like wet dough. This part is probably one of the more time consuming parts, or I'm just like OCD. I don't want to spread flour everywhere, so I take a long time. But there's that. See how it's still like wet at this point, and we've incorporated all that flour. 500 grams, which I think is like 3.5 cups or something crazy of flour. I don't know. So I try to get underneath and kind of like dig things up a little bit. When you do it in the order that makes the most sense, that most recipes have: starter, water, flour, salt. Your water would be kind of on the bottom. So, you know, keep that in mind when you come to mix things. Know if it's more dry at the top, you're kind of gonna need to fold it under with your hands to get it straight. So this, without any lumps, no dry patches of flour, except like on the side of the bowl there might be a little bit of dry flour. That's always gonna be imperfect. It's okay. Some people really try to go hard and like clean off their bowl, like the sides of it, and use like a scraper. I have tried that because I'm like a little OCD, I guess, but it's never really worked for me. It's really hard to get this off. So I just rinsed it all the way off my hands, and I'll show you options for covering your bowl. Right, let's fix you first. All right, so you can either take something like this. I bought microfiber dish towels or dish rags, whatever, TJ Maxx. Make it all the way wet. Wring it out, put it over the bowl, and leave it. Or if you are, I don't know, have done it a while, you want to do something else, like the idea that it's covered, like the ease of it, want something with like to have a specific purpose. I actually probably have too many of these, and if you remember, you can ask for one for me. They're all different sizes. It's a bowl cover. I will run it under water. Doesn't matter if it's warm or cool. I usually use warm water. I don't know, something about cool water kind of gives me the ick. But you see this is wet. It's not dripping. And this fits this size of bowl if I can manage to get it over. All right, cool. So it's damp, it's covered, it's in there. It will sit, usually most recipes, and probably for this one I have to double check, but it will sit for about an hour. Right now it's 11:47, so 12:47. I'll come back in here and then I'll show you guys stretches and folds. If you want, I can do one set or I can show you multiple sets, but it's gonna be the same step every set, so it's not gonna make a difference. But hopefully this instruction is helpful for you guys.